Brian Gill, who is the global head of the Office of Disability Affairs for J.P. Morgan Chase. Y'all join me in giving him an ACB welcome.
Well, thank you so much. So as mentioned, I'm Brian Gill. I have the privilege to be the head of our Office of Disability Affairs, and I'm also the firm-wide head of neurodiversity for JP Morgan Chase globally. I am a white male. I've been described as having a very robust white beard. I'm wearing a blue-gray blazer and brown slacks. So I want to talk a little bit about the importance of this work to us and the importance of the work of the American Council of the Blind. So when we think about disability employment, there are many, many layers of value. And I would describe this work, without exception, through all levels of our leadership, as a business imperative to ensure that we can attract, retain, develop, and keep the very best talent. Thank you. It's becoming far more competitive for qualified talent, and as we know, the largest pools of untapped talent with the highest under and unemployment rates may be the disability and neurodivergent communities. So we spend a lot of time figuring out how we can position ourselves as an employer of choice and also, by extension, the bank of choice for these communities. But in order to do that, we have to attract the very best blind talent. We need those lived experiences through all levels and layers of our leadership to ensure that we're developing products and services for this community. It's also been proven time and time again that diverse teams perform better. Accenture put out a study that firms that lean in on disability inclusion are 1.6 times more revenue, 2.6 times more net income, and 2 times more profitable. That's an amazing statistic. And that doesn't even touch on the community and culture components of working with somebody that has different lived experiences and is adding value in very unique ways. So when we think about how to remain competitive in this type layered market, we're making a number of investments, particularly in accommodations. We've got to be best in class. We've got to be able to attract talent, but also once they arrive, enable them to be their very best when they come to work every single day. That's on us. We're offering and investing in technologies, screen readers, magnifiers, braille displays, all of our signage. We're leaning in heavily on inclusive design in our physical spaces. It's not inclusion, and Judy Heumann said this a number of years ago, rest in peace, Judy, but it always resonated with me. If you can come into our office and use the bathroom, that is not inclusion, right? Inclusion is a seat at the table. You feel like you belong, you're valued. We do our part to make sure that you can be your best when you come to work every day. And that's our commitment and the investment, and where we spend a lot of time is making sure that we have the state of the art. And we're still learning. I'm still learning about AI and the potential solutions there. There's lots of it. But I did want to back up a little bit and just talk about some of the other things and kind of the starting point for all of this. Back in 2016, almost a decade ago, we recognized the important value of ensuring that we were the employer of choice for the disability community, and we understood the very large gaps that we had. So the Office of Disability Inclusion was created in 2016 to work to make progress towards closing those gaps and ensuring that we could attract the very best talent and be the employer of choice. Don't get me wrong, we have a lot of work to do. And I don't think any organization could deny that. But again, we're particularly focused on technology. One of the other places that we're really leaning in is on navigation assistance. We've worked with a company called IRA In our branch banking, yeah, all right. In our branch banks, we have some additional technologies that through cell phone usage that allow our very important customers to navigate. But technology bridges gaps and opens doors and enables all of us to perform to our best. But inclusive design and people, I always say, I have some responsibility with our accommodations delivery globally, but I always remind ourselves and our leaders, the single most important accommodation across the board for all communities, any community with a unique difference, is empathy. How do you meet your employee where they're at and enable them to bring their best self to work? We have colleagues throughout our organization, and I often get asked, and this applies to different communities, what jobs do we have maybe for blind people? What jobs do we have for autistic applicants? What jobs do we have for deaf applicants? Every job we have. There's no carve-outs. We want talent in every corner of our organization from all of these communities to bring their lived experiences, their perspectives, and help us not only enable our workforce to be their very best working together, but also make sure that we can outcompete. I know there's other banks here, but outcompete the other banks for not only the very best talent, but also for the business. So we have blind, low vision colleagues in every aspect of our organization, every corner of our organization, amazing technologists developing our platforms. We have trainers. We have all kinds of jobs that kind of bridge outside of finance. We certainly have all the banking, accounting, finance jobs, forecasting, analytics, sales. But like a big city, we also have every other function. We have medical services, we have media, we have communications. Anything you can think of, there's a home for it at JP Morgan. We've also removed from most of our positions the requirement of a college degree. It's not needed. And getting access to education can be a barrier to entry for a number of different communities. But if you're interested in opportunities at our firm, we have jobs posted online and it is fully accessible. But I would welcome anyone who's interested in a career in financial services, and you don't have to be a banker. We have every kind of job you can imagine, and I would welcome the opportunity to call each of you or any of you colleagues if there's an interest in working for our firm. So thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate the opportunity to make remarks.
A logo, ACB in print and braille, American Council of the Blind, together for a bright future.